Hello everybody, Crab here, and today we start our rocket fuel factory. And to make rocket fuel, we need a whole lot of turbo fuel, which requires a whole lot of refineries. Now, let us begin. Now, I have chosen this lake right here to build my beautiful power plant. And luckily, it's extremely close to my main base area, so power is really easy to get over here. I don't have to, do a full train line. But my thought is, we're gonna start building by taking this mountain. Actually, it's more just like a rock pillar and making it no longer a rock pillar. This is gonna be such an absolute pain to build. Anyways, this entire base is gonna be a hexagon. This is the starting bit. What we're gonna do now is go out by 13 foundations. No, I don't want to die. Am I not flying? We're gonna go out by 13 foundations because this is how far out we need to have our lovely little fuel power generators. To make our rocket fuel, we're actually gonna be building a factory down here. So we're gonna have all the fuel generators in the sky vibing, and then the factory is gonna be on the floor next to the lake right here. Oh, this is gonna look so cool once I actually get stuff in here. So, I haven't talked about at all the base idea for this thing. Here's how it's gonna work. Right about here, right in the middle there, we're gonna have this cutoff point. We're gonna have the machines down at below here. That's going to be making all of our rocket fuel. And then we're gonna have 4 layers of fuel generators. So fuel generator here, fuel generator here, fuel generator here, fuel generator here, on all 6 sides, which is gonna be 192 fuel generators. The reason I'm doing 192 is because I'm overclocking all of them by 250%, 3 power shards. Fair warning, I will not be overclocking those anytime soon. I need to build a power shard factory. This fuel power plant is to build the power shard factory, so then I have power shards to build my nuclear factory, but I don't have enough power to start the nuclear factory and the power shard factory, so I have to build this factory. It's a little annoying, but you know, poor planning means I have to do these kind of things. With that being said, we now have to fit machines down here. My idea is refineries will go like in a long line down this way, because above that waterfall we are going to be grabbing 3 resources, which is coal, bauxite, and sand ore, and we're going to be bringing them down and over to this thing anyways. So if we have a long line of refineries that can like hook up to the resources I need to grab over there, it'll be a whole lot easier to bring them over than just having a random bridge sitting in the middle of this pond. I just called this lake a pond. Ah yes, my little pond. 2 massive waterfalls feeding it. We do need to build 80 refineries, so it's going to be a very long line of refineries, but that's okay. Over here, we're gonna have blenders probably. I need to build 20 blenders. We need a few assemblers, about 20 of them. They're gonna go in the middle right here, and then we need about 10 converters, which are going to be going in these 2 kind of diagonal side bits. I don't know what to call them. And then we have like a few constructors to build. And that's basically it. So this bottom area won't be too big. The real fun part will be the massive tower of fuel generators that is hexagonally in the sky. Okay, the refineries have to be significantly bigger than I wanted them to be. This building, as you can see, is expanded 5 foundations out of where our usual pillars are. If you look, we have these guide pillars, right? And they all go out in a line, and that's what makes this hexagon. And they were supposed to do that for the refineries, but then they wouldn't fit, because I have to have 2 rows of refineries. The reason is, we have 80 refineries. First row is making heavy oil residue. Second row is making turbo fuel. With that, we have 2 kinds of refinery blueprints. They're both basically the same, except the heavy oil residue has a resource output and a liquid input, because we have polymer resin being made, which we have to sink. Whereas the turbo fuel has a resource and liquid input, because we have compact coal and heavy oil residue, and just a liquid output for the turbo fuel. Something you should know about these foundations is they are not quite a full 5 foundation wide. The reason for this is I have a plan to do something in the middle. So when I was planning these blueprints, I needed a half foundation to be available in the middle if they're sitting right next to each other, or I guess right across from each other. Also, thermal generator right there, which means I had to expand the blender line. This one is not going outside of these guide pillars, so that's nice. But we have a random geothermal power generator, which is going to be sitting here, which should add some interest to the inside of the building, which will be nice. And suddenly, these lines of refineries look absolutely beautiful. And now we get to the main reason we have this half foundation gap in the center, which is these beautiful Mark 6 belts. The nice part about them is they're white and have nice little light bits on them, so we can actually use them as lighting in the center of these refineries, which is cool. The reason we have 3 is because of the 3 resources I'm grabbing from up here, as I said earlier. Coal, bauxite, sand ore come down and go through the middle, and I feel like it'll look beautiful. Something I would like to mention though, we're changing this blueprint. I do not like these railings. What we're going to do is use basic walls instead, because I don't work with concrete and concrete walls enough, so I feel like I should do that for the interior this time and exterior, just because I haven't done it in a while. Sounds like a fun little challenge. But now that we have all this in, we have to figure out how we're gonna do the roof. This should be fun. Okay, before roof, I wanted to show this. With the walls, it looks so much nicer than the railings. And also, I raised this belt up a little bit, these 3 belts right here. So we have this extreme black, which is basically this customization that has black. I have it at -5. Makes an extreme black. It looks nice, and it makes it so the bottom looks cool. These belts are on different heights. So if you look, these bottom ones are attached to this foundation right here, but the one above it is actually attached to a half foundation below this one. And so we get these belts to be a lot more smashed together. On the inside, you can actually see all the belts when we're walking. So we get to actually see all the resources going along as we're walking. And also, we can use this as a way to get through the refineries. Whee! Until we hit the wall. Okay, it is now time to mess with the roof. I have a very distinct idea for what I want this interior to look like for the roof, and that is this nice middle light right here, highlighting these belts, and 2 oil pipelines that are going to be hanging from the ceiling going down the center, because we have oil over here, and I want to bring it over, and I want to take it across the ceiling and then into these refiners going this way. The only reason I want to take it all the way down there is because it'll look cool. I could just plug it in from this side, but that's boring. We're going to go all the way down because cool pipes. These are billboards. They are set to matte black, so matte, no emission strength, and it gets this really nice ceiling where I don't really have any texture, and it looks like a very clean interior. And then I have these metal beams in the center to kind of highlight or structure everything. Basically the exact same thing above the refineries. Now we are dealing with this not 5 full foundations wide, which means I'm gonna have to change this blueprint so these billboards aren't next to each other. What I'm gonna have to do is raise this billboard by the slightest amount and overlap it with this one, so the 2 black bits will be smaller. They'll be slightly smaller and not quite as wide than the middle light. But luckily, when we're walking from below, you don't really notice all too much above the refineries. You're mainly looking at this beautiful view right here. So this is more of a afterthought. And then on the side, I'm just gonna do black billboard that follows these pathways just because this should give us enough light, and the outside's going to have windows, so we don't need to light it nearly as much. Something interesting though is going to be looking at all these billboard tops. I wanna see what it looks like going all the way down. I think it's gonna look really cool. And what do you know, this looks absolutely awesome when you look down this view. Oh, I love it. Oh yeah, speaking of which, these are blueprints. If you want them, pin comment, Patreon, you can grab them. What I need to do now is the oil pipe down the center, and then I also need to figure out the wall bits on each side. So we need to connect this and make it a pathway that goes towards, you know, all the other sections of this area. And I have to make sure I have all of my belts and pipes and whatnot connected down here and make sure that everything is hooked up correctly. And would you look at that? These pipes look magnificent. Oh my god, I love them. This is such a good idea. Highlight the pipes. You have resources going down the center. It's very white and black. I love this so much. Also, I'm using metal beams as like little support bits, so it looks like it's actually being held from the ceiling, which is nice. And I also love the Mark 6 belts. I can just fly. Whee! Oh, I made the gap. Yes, I'm so good at this game. Also, subscribe, you weirdos. Oh yeah, and looking at this from above, it looks absolutely hilarious. Now, something I was thinking about is we have this gap right here. Our roof has to go up and cover all of this anyways. So, can we use this gap? And that's what I would like to figure out real quick. Will I be able to fit either a blender? Let's see. Ooh, ho, ho. Ooh, I might be able to do this. So I can either try and fit a blender, or if I raise it up a bit more, a converter will fit up here too. I could do blenders and converters and kind of have the top bits of each, this little bubble bit or the circle bit on the blender, stick out of the roof and add it as a detail that goes above this. That's an option. So what I have to figure out now is which one to do, because I'm definitely doing that. Probably blenders. I need to fit 20 blenders in here. I know they're going to be 3 foundations long, and I can only fit 1 of them, so I'm just going to go down, figure out how long this is. This is 48 foundations long, which means I could fit 16 blenders, which means I would be missing 4. Now, granted, I need more than 20 blenders. I actually need 27, 7 of which are to make nitric acid, which then go into the blenders that will make rocket fuel. So what I could do is have those 7 blenders be like extremely spread out along here, because nitric acid, I have to make hydrogen out of bauxite inside of the converter, because I don't have any hydrogen around here. So if we're making hydrogen in here out of this bauxite, and let's say we put that right here in this area, and then we also need to make some iron plates, we'll put that in this area, and then we can belt it up to here somehow, and then we have 7 blenders, or we can have 14 blenders and just underclock them by half, making nitric acid. And then I only need 200 nitric acid, so I can fit that all in a pump. And I can either put that below these pipes right here. I can have another pipeline here, or I can just leave it in the walls. And I can bring that all the way back over towards these 20 blenders right here to make our rocket fuel. Okay, we know what we're doing for the roof now. I'm going to fit a good amount of blenders in here. This is going to be so much fun. So I'm trying to design these blenders right now, and I'm coming across a problem when it comes to integrating them into the ceiling, right? Not the ceiling, the roof. So I want to have this very, you know, distinct stair pattern go down because I feel like it would look cool. A ramp just wouldn't fit quite right for what I want. And I'm going in between doing this, which is the 4-meter tall foundation with 8 steps, or creating my own 4-meter foundation tall 4-step. The other problem is the fact that this blender does not actually center itself inside of my foundations, which is really pissing me off, and I can't fix it. But that's something that I have no control over, so there's no point even bothering to try and do it correctly. These are gonna be making rocket fuel, so like, what does the top look like? Oh, it's orange. Actually looks kind of nice. If I had like the orange pattern going across up top. Anyways, got distracted. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out right now is how do I do my staircase, or do I just switch it to ramps and not deal with it? Okay, the flickering of the Z fighting is going to be extremely annoying, but I think part of the problem is the fact that I'm dealing with 4-meter foundations and then also having these 1-meter/2-meter foundations for the roof. But that's something I can deal with, get around, and just straight up ignore. I don't care. This looks awesome. Oh my god, this is so cool. I like these indents with the blenders. I need to space them out properly. I just shoved one up front real quick because I was like, I want to see if it looks nice. And it looks nice. This looks great. And I was wrong. I don't know why I did the rocket fuel thing. I'm making nitric acid right up here. I'm kind of stupid sometimes. I think I'm going to place these and have like 3 to 5 rows of foundations in between each blender. I'll have to do the math properly and figure out exactly how far I can go. Okay, I'm messing with lake concrete, and it's looking pretty good so far. I'm deciding that this place is going to be green because of our current location of greeniness. So I just made this random green color, whatever. It fits well enough and it matches what I want. We're gonna have a window down here where the refineries are, and then up here where all the blank spaces, we're gonna have this weird little concrete foundation, this concrete pillar sideways pattern thingy. And I'm gonna have like random ramps going in between to add distinct shapes and whatnot, just to split up the monotonous lines that is going to be going for 50 goddamn foundations. But now I have to make this a whole wall, which also means I need to make a blueprint. Time to go to the blueprint maker. Actually, I want to make sure I do this bit right here. I want to finish this corner so I actually know how I like the design, and then we'll do the rest of the wall. Because the rest of the wall, then trying to figure out this corner and be like, not good. Not gonna be too fun. All right, been messing with the roof and the side. So, side looks decent. I think this pattern will do fine all the way across, and I think the windows will look nice all the way across. I don't know how I feel about this random strip yet, so I might get rid of it. Luckily, that's an easy thing to change. And then on the roof, I've been messing with a little strip. What I'm using is what I like to call ultimate black, or just black, the one that I have set to -5, and the coated concrete material, and this nice strip down the middle, and then I use these concrete highlights, which are the same green color, so I could have green on the sides and on the roof. Luckily, nitric acid is green in blenders, kind of, so they match, which is actually pretty cool. But I am liking this. This looks nice. So now I'm going to build some blueprints to make everything easier for myself. Wall blueprints and a ceiling blueprint for this strip. And then we need to figure out spacing for these blenders. And I am thinking just every once in a while having like a big pillar that goes up and just across. And I'm thinking of making it just like the normal concrete color, like this, just having a strip. And I'll probably bring it out a little bit, make it 3 wide, and then have a little bit of a ramp to bring it up. But just something else that isn't black and green. I need to have normal concrete, otherwise it'll look pretty stupid. But this is looking nice. I like it. Now we go all the way down. Okay, I just spent 20 minutes hooking up all these blenders to have their inputs and outputs right here, but oh my god, this looks so cool. It looks fantastic. I love this so much. Look at it. Look at the little circles. I'm doing this for my nuclear power plant. I'm making a roof, and we're having steam come out. It's gonna look so good. Now I actually have to finish it. I haven't done anything to decide. I just spent 30 minutes hooking these up. It's so hard. It's so cramped down here. Like, I know this looks fantastic, but it is hell trying to get through all these pipes. It is just so annoying. Okay, I'm gonna finish the top of the roof and then start working on the sides, and then the front and back, so I can connect it to, you know, the rest of this entire build. Okay, so earlier I said I was gonna do pillars, like, occasionally in the middle, and I don't think that's gonna work because of the spacing of these blenders, which, by the way, they look fantastic. Look at this roof, look at this wall. Mwah, I love it. I ran out of concrete, so I'm waiting for it to build up. before I can continue this wall. I think the wall looks good. I do need to figure out a pillar of some sort. This is too much without any form of break in the monotony of this line. But again, the problem is the spacing of these blenders. If I put a bit of concrete, let's say right here in the middle, while yes, I can do this and it does kind of work, we still do have space in between the blenders and this bit. I'm really gonna have to mess around and figure out what colors are gonna work well and all that. First, I have to make the pillar look good and not like a terrible piece of garbage that's just there because it can be. And also, I can just not do a pillar. I can mess with this wall, but I would like to do a pillar. I like pillars. They're fun. Unless I do them badly, in which case I hate it. Okay, I did a thing, and I don't know how to feel about this thing. I think I like thing. Lights are good. Lights are nice. I don't know if this is too much lights. I feel like these should be down a little bit, but lights are good. Lights are nice. Lights are very pretty. And I feel like on the inside they work because it's just a different color. Yeah. I like lights. I'm gonna make all windows have lights now. Okay, I'm very much liking the back end of this so far. I have the heavy oil residue line. This is two 600 belts. I'm making 1500, so I am missing a belt, but it's the belt that's way at the very end with my few overclocked refineries. At the very end, I couldn't fit the full 40 in each row, so the last 4 refineries of both rows are overclocked a little bit, so heavy oil residue belt is not coming all the way over here to go back down, because I'd have nowhere to put it. I am making only, well, not only, but exactly 120 turbo fuel, so that is coming right here, and then it'll go off wherever it needs to go, so we can see everything flowing, which is nice. And I also like just generally how this looks. I did add a third pipe in the middle for the nitric acid. It's going to be the top pipe. These bottom two, of course, are for the oil. And I gotta say, I have never used these billboards as like black matte to make them as ceiling. I've like never done that before, and I'm so glad I did because this looks absolutely fantastic. I love this roof so much. What we're gonna do now is go to the other end and hook it up, and then also grab all the resources that are gonna be going on those middle belts. The reason for that is I kind of want to finish off this side. I don't want to deal with it anymore. The other thing is I have water extractors that I need to put somewhere, and I'm thinking of putting them on this side, but I'm not quite sure yet. I could put them on the other side. It just depends on what needs more interesting stuff. But I gotta say, these lights really did help add a little bit of something to this end. Looking down, it just looks great. I also don't have this foundation all the way in the water yet. I should probably do that. Oh, speaking of which, this lake is now separated into 2 parts because of this building that rams itself into the rock over here. Real intelligent move on my part. So I need to figure out how to make a nice passageway or make it look like water is going underneath this building, which is going to be hell and I'm going to hate it. But yeah, I do need to figure out what to do with this end because I don't know. I have to figure out how to get nitric acid from the top down, which won't be too hard. Oil to go down, which I'll probably just do through the walls into the machines. And then belts coming from up there down and into here. So it shouldn't be too hard. Okay, the front, relatively boring. I was just like, sign turbo fuel, because that's what we're making in here. And then, you know, did the thing just to use the wall blueprints, and I forgot to fully light this one, and boom. Okay, there we go. Easy peasy. Okay, now it's all lit. The resources will be coming down and in through a wall bit in here somewhere. I have this door, because why not? And then inside, I basically just copied the back to this front. So this is the nitrogen pipe. It goes down and then it goes up through this wall and connects up with the blenders up top. And then these 2 oil pipes come over, down, and into these refineries right here. And then these resources will come from the bottom from outside. Now, I still need to do this wall, but before we do that, I want to do the bit that shows that water's going underneath this whole thing. Now, I'm not going to do that up front here. This will kind of be overhanged. I'll have resources here, probably like an awesome sink or something. This area we're going to leave alone. But on these sides, I want to have at least 2 5 foundation long open bits that show water can go through. So let's see what I can come up with. Okay, I added these 2 little bits, and we have a Mr. Bean trying to phase through walls. You are not an interdimensional beam, so you cannot do that. Interdimensional bean. There we go. Anyways, I came up with a very big brain lore, right? Water goes underneath the building to cool the refineries. Ha! My brain is huge. Anyways, they look nice. These are 5 foundations wide, and they're like 7 foundations away from each other. They're very simple. I like how they look. We're going to put 2 on the other side as well, and that's that. Okay, so now this side's like officially done. And the front bit, almost, kind of, but not really. I do need to get the resources, which is what we're going to do next. Okay, I like the bauxite belt, or sorry, the coal belt especially, because it's going over this waterfall, and I think it looks funny. But anyways, I got belts now. They're coming from every which direction, and they look kind of weird. Just a little weird. I might have to change the floating pillar right here. But they all come down, go in, and they will connect to the inside, which means belts are done, sides done, and all the other things are done. So now we just have to do this side. Well, okay, I need to actually connect these belts to the inside. I haven't done that yet. So let me do that first. And then we're gonna go along this wall and finish off this wall, because wall needs to be unwallified. And would you look at that, the other side's done. So technically speaking, this part of the building is finished. I hooked up the electricity to everything, so everything has power. I haven't inputted any resources yet for anything though, and I won't for a little bit because oil's over there and I have to do this part of the building before getting the oil. Well, I don't have to, but I am. I got resources in the middle now. It looks so very nice and pretty. Oh my god. I put the SAM on top because duh. And so now technically we're officially finished with the refinery area. I guess calling it the refinery area is kind of stupid because we have these beautiful blenders on top. And with this finished, I mean, oh my god, does this look fantastic. I'm so happy I did these circles. They look so good. And they really add something to the top of this build that I wouldn't have been able to do on my own. Now, something that I did mess up is I think these blenders should have stuck out from the roof. I think they should have gone up either 0.1 or 0.2 of foundation. I have not put the water pumps in, and I will still continue to not do that until I try and turn on nitric acid, because I only need 200 water. That's where I'm taking it. I need 1 pump, so I might hide the pump like in here somewhere or whatever. I might like display it. I hope you did enjoy today's video. Next time we will hopefully finish building the rest of this whole thing. These refineries took way longer because I had to, you know, make the design for this entire factory. I didn't have any clue what I was doing at the beginning. And then after that, we get to place a whole lot of fuel power plants. I will see you all next time. You ever think about how puntable a bean would be?